What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Reviews with Cats. If it's your first time here, I am Dustin. As you may know, we are huge fans of Flextail products on this channel. Ever since we bought the Tiny Repel way back in the day, we've just really loved all of the innovation and products that they keep on cranking out, and it seems like all of them have just hit the mark so far. In a previous video, you may remember that we reviewed the Tiny Pump 2X, which was pretty dang awesome. I was telling Flextail about my thoughts about the pump, and they said, well, if you think this one's pretty cool, you should check out the, boom, Max Pump 3. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. And we're actually going to be comparing the two because even though they both pretty much serve the same purpose, they might have a different consumer in mind, and we're going to go over that. So let's get started. I'd like to start off things with full disclosure. Flextail did send us this pump, but I always like to shoot straight, and I will tell you all the things that I like about it and things that I think could be improved or, you know, maybe little additions that they could make to it along the way. The first category that we will be starting with is something that's on a lot of people's mind, and that is price. The Max Pump 3 sells for $55.99, and the Tiny Pump 2X sells for $30.99. And that is, you know, if you're just kind of common folk. But if you are a viewer of this channel, you can use coupon code LTA15 for 15% off of either pump. The Max Pump 3 comes in orange, the best color, and black and white, while the Tiny Pump 2X comes in orange, black, and white. And the next thing that we have was once muttered by Brad Pitt in a famous movie, what's in the box? The Max 3 pump comes with the pump, of course, as well as the charging cable, which I always applaud Flextail for going with the USB-C charging cable, as well as 6 color-matched nozzles. Well, 5 of them are color-matched. This is the additional nozzle that does not come with the Tiny Pump 2X. As for this nozzle, well, it's not really actually much of a nozzle at all. What it actually is a tripod adapter. You can actually put it on this nifty little tripod that Flextail makes, sold separately of course, but it's actually really reasonable. You don't even have to use this tripod because the little mount has a 1/4-20 thread on the bottom of it, so you can attach it to other tripods or anything that has a 1/4-20 screw. As for the other nozzles, you can use them to fill air mattresses, pool toys, inflatable pillows, and this tip right here is for vacuum bags. This thing is huge too. You could put a lot in there. The next category we are calling Let There Be Light. Oh. This may seem like an odd thing to do for a small air pump, but both the Max Pump 3 and the 2X have built-in lights. So when you're done filling all of your air mattresses and whatever else you need to inflate a camp, you have nice little lights. Thanks, 𝐬𝐃𝐑. While the Tiny Pump 2X might not be able to use that tripod mount, it does have a nifty little hanger on it, and the base of it is also magnetic, so you can stick it to anything that's metal in camp. On a full charge, you can use Mode 1 that gives you 30 lumens for 24 hours, Mode 2 gives you 120 lumens for 4.5 hours, or Mode 3 gives you 230 lumens for 3 hours. This pump also comes with an adorable little lampshade that you can use. This softens the light a little bit, and they also have another lampshade that looks like a flame as well. The Max Pump 3, on the other hand, does not have a magnetic base, but it does have a much beefier little built-in carabiner on it. You can use this to hang it in your tent, or you can hang it off the back of your pack, and you can also use that tripod mount. The light on this pump will give you 100 lumens for 11 hours, 200 lumens for 4.5 hours, or 300 lumens for 4 hours. I would really love to see Flextail come out with some sort of a lampshade for this light as well. I mean, you could always just kind of stick it on there, but it just falls right off. Because this bad boy is pretty bright, and if it was hanging in our tent, that might be shining right in your eyes. Really useful around camp though. Now, all of this talk of lumens might not mean much for some, so I say let's do an experiment. We're going to kill all of the lights in the studio, and we're going to be using both of these lights as our only light source for just a second. We are going to be starting things off with the Tiny Pump 2X. Here it is at its lowest setting. Not too bad. Medium setting, getting better. And full power. So As you can tell, it puts out a pretty good amount of light. Oh, hi Copo. And we can even make it a little bit more interesting if we throw that little lampshade on there. As you can tell, definitely it cuts down the light output, but it definitely softens it up a lot more. It makes it a little bit less harsh on the eyes. Now, let's switch things over. As you can tell, on the lowest setting, the Max Pump 3 is already way brighter. And let's go back up to setting 2. There we go, setting 2 and setting 3. That is a whole lot more light. Pretty cool. One challenge that you might face with the Max Pump 3 is keeping it looking pristine. I mean, this thing is really neat looking. It almost looks like the cross section of a jet engine or something. In fact, it was so neat that it won the 2024 Paris Design Awards. So, good job, Flextail. Good job. But yeah, if you want to keep this thing looking good, it's going to be a little bit tricky because both this outer cover here and the inner cover over the light are made of this clear acrylic, which could get pretty scratched up. I don't think that will affect the light quality at all, but if you're trying to keep it pristine, you're going to have to be just a little bit more gentle with this than you would the 2X. Both of these pumps have a really nice build quality to them. Both designs are rugged yet nice looking. As mentioned a second ago, the acrylic on the Max Pump 3 might warrant some extra care, but both should be able to handle the outdoors just fine. Neither of the pumps are waterproof, so if you're going to be out in poor weather conditions, you will need to bring a dry bag for them. The 2X does have a nifty little silicone cover that you can buy separately for it. Obviously, this won't give it protection from huge drops because it's just a little piece of silicone, but it will give it some added protection if you're hanging it off the back of your pack or if it's just rolling around in your gearbox. The Max Pump 3 does not currently have any type of protective cover. I think that would be a great addition, but we'll just have to see what Flextail has up their bag for that. As you can tell, the 2X is quite a bit smaller than the Max Pump 3, making it great for people who are trying to pack small. It is also lighter. The 2X weighs in at 3.5 ounces, while the Max Pump 3 weighs in at 4.3 ounces. It isn't an enormous difference, but if you're trying to keep things as light as possible, it could matter. I feel like at this point we have showed some of the strengths of the 2X, but now let's find out why the Max Pump 3 might be a better option for you. The first category where the Max Pump 3 shines is in battery size. The Max Pump 3 has a built-in 7.2 watt-hour battery, while the X2's battery is a 5.9 watt-hour. It is recommended that you charge the batteries about once a month to keep them nice and healthy, so we keep ours in a spot where we constantly see them and remember to charge them. One thing that is very important to know about the tips that come along with these pumps is that if you have both pumps like we do here, the tips for the 2X are actually a little bit smaller. They may look exactly the same, but if you have the pump for the 2X, it fits very loosely. And this one doesn't fit at all. So you need to keep them separate because they fit perfectly on the pumps that they were designed for. With the larger battery on the Max Pump 3, you may be wondering how that will affect its runtime. If you saw our last video, you may remember that this little guy could inflate our AirPads 30 times. Obviously, your mileage may vary because we have one AirPad that is very thin and one that is very thick. So if you had two AirPads, who knows, you might be able to get 40 or maybe 50. We ended up doing the same exact test with the Max Pump 3 and we got 46.5 inflations out of it. Not only that, but it was faster as well. The Tiny Pump 2X inflates the thicker pad in 1 minute and 30 seconds, whereas the Max Pump 3 did it in just 57 seconds. Another big difference is the volume between the two. And I'm not talking about air, I'm talking about how loud are they. You would think that since this guy is way more powerful, it would be a lot louder too, but that might not be the case. It has a much lower tone, while this one seems to scream a little bit. It may just be that it's a higher pitched noise that makes it sound louder, so there's only one way to tell. We're gonna put them both to the test. The 2X has a decibel rating of 116.2 decibels. Not bad. In a surprising turn of events, the Max Pump 3 only puts out 88.2 decibels. Like I said, it is a much lower tone and it might be a little bit more pleasant to your neighbors at the campground. One of the things that I really do love about the Max Pump 3 is the button layout. While the Tiny Pump X2 has one button that controls both the light and the pump, it's a long press for the light and short press for the pump. This guy has two separate buttons here. It's got L for light and P for, you guessed it, pump. Both of the buttons are recessed and they take just a little bit of force to press them, which will hopefully keep them from getting pressed while rolling around in a bag or box. To turn on the light is a double press, and to cycle through the light modes, it's just a single press after that. The air only flows through this pump in one direction, so if you're wanting to use it with the vacuum bags, you'll be putting the attachment on the back of the pump and screwing it on like this. This is a great little option for people like us that like to travel as much as possible with only our carry-ons. To operate the pump, it is also a double press to put it in the first of two power modes called Premium mode. But if you want to access the basic mode that puts out less pressure but runs for 60 minutes instead of 25, it's an additional long button press. This is great for longer trips where you may need to use it several times without recharging. In closing, you can't really go wrong with either of these pumps, but which team are you on? Team Power or Team Packability? Which one fits your lifestyle? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have anything else that you would like to see us review, also let us know. Until next time, I am Dustin from Live That Adventure, and we'll see you out there. Stay safe, everyone.